really look like a very confident side, whereas LDLC, they have made them look amateur almost at this point. Psycho taking some Molotov damage early, dropped down to 36, and pretty much is that a sign of what is to come here for the side of Crazy. It seems like the first map is not going to be sticking around for too long, let's say. Some decent utility for Crazy, but they've got to put it to good use, and I feel like the B site is that opportunity to do so, but with how good the players like Body, Lambert have looked here in this sort of position, is going to be scary. Afro as well, I mean, his B site defense has been horrific so far. These two on a collaboration could be deadly here for LDLC.
Absolutely, as the retake comes through, Body able to secure Banana, and again, he'll hear that ult bring out, so he knows that Crazy had interest in it as he forces them away. And Crazy, look at their utility, they've got about 1, maybe 2 executes in them. So even if they do end up faking A, heading back down towards B, they'll run out of retake utility very quickly. Same goes for LDLC, only 1 smoke remaining. Lambert now looks like he's in position to be flashed in towards Apps. Actually, he chooses to back away. Crazy committing to this A site. The set piece goes out. Lambert's going to have to go huge here. He'll find the first on MQ. Follow-up is there as well. Hadji and 6 are fine. He'll take down Toxic. Lambert finds one more of his own. Hadji finds Toxic. Doll on Sensei. He'll take down Hadji. 1 versus 4 for him. In a 1 versus 3 now. The tag comes through. He's just spamming off what he can, ringing off shots, but Body will take him down, securing LDLC. The first map in this best of 3 series, taking down Crazy 16-5.
So good. LDLC getting away with the first map, making sure that this one very, very competitive right off the bat. They even sort of they get 16-6 last time. They do it one better here, a 16-5. We'll head into map number 2. It is Vertigo on the way. It is a map pick for Crazy coming up, but it's one where they really have to turn up. Do not go anywhere. We'll be right back after a short break, 10 minutes or so, and map number 2 on the way. We'll be right back.
Initialize booting. These are your targets. You must find, capture and contain them until extraction vehicle arrives. Witnesses are irrelevant. Leave them unharmed if you can. End of a transmission. system online.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, of course, into map number 2. It is CR4ZY versus LDLC here on Vertigo. And after such a one-sided performance on Inferno, 16-5, a very simple victory for LDLC. See whether Vertigo can have the same effect here for CR4ZY. A chance for them to get back in the series, but also a chance for LDLC to close it out based on their recent Vertigo performances.
Absolutely, and of course we've seen that CR4ZY, by win rate at least, preferring Vertigo to Inferno, and hopefully for them this will be a chance for them to kind of claw themselves back into this. Of course 16-5, especially for your mentality, can absolutely ruin you in a best of 3 series, so we'll have to see if they're able to get the second wins, put the first map behind them, and really climb into this.
One thing, right, for a side that again did get an Inferno victory yesterday in sort of a same or similar dominant fashion to what LDLC did today, it's going to be a very scary sort of undertone of this second map, knowing that LDLC did in fact win out on this map already yesterday against SG Pro. It did take an overtime, but there were technical issues for LDLC. They disconnected for like half an hour, like their internet just died. So if they maybe had less tech problems, there might have been a chance that they could have actually closed it out easier than in overtime. But CR4ZY, by winning the knife round, at least giving themselves a CT-sided start, a more comfortable beginning on a map like Vertigo. For LDLC, the one thing they displayed on Inferno was a very strong understanding of exactly how to play the T side.
Absolutely, and to CR4ZY's credit, the CT side of Inferno, I loved their utility usage. It was absolutely brilliant. Within about 8 rounds, they had well over 400 utility damage on at least 3 players. It was a phenomenal performance in terms of utility. They just couldn't find the conversion. And we saw in almost all the rounds that LDLC played, they never won a round without damaged players. As CR4ZY, their positioning for utility usage is absolutely great. We'll have to see if they can bring it again on Vertigo. And we'll have to wait and see as LDLC is setting up for this A take. The set piece goes out. The flash about to follow as the push comes on through. The swing comes through from shoulder. Body going to be taking point of contact as CR4ZY, with 30 seconds left, looks to just play behind that smoke. That double nade actually looking to cancel the plant. However, it was faked out. That's a great read by Lambert there. And with 20 seconds left, that plant will come on through. 5 versus 5 retake now for CR4ZY, as the util is lined up. The set piece ready to come on out. However, LDLC have been able to get into a fairly convincing after plant setup. Folks will buy them at least a bit of space as the push comes out. Body unable to find anything just yet, wants to hide. Afro allowing that first player to pass. He will actually be spotted as he looks to fall on away. Then comes through, he'll find one. He'll find two, actually, almost finding a third. Sensei, though, able to trade in time. As that bomb continues to attack, will tap down. Lambert will find one. Sensei trading. Haji finds the last, and Body and Haji both find these remaining 2 players. 3 players remaining for LDLC as they take the pistol round. In fairly convincing fashion, actually. That retake from CR4ZY, it was a little messy, but it did work in LDLC's favour. The trades were there, and Afro stayed alive way longer than he should have. His position was known, and just, well, while his position was known, he was still able to swing, kill 2 players, and almost tag down a third.
He was even on radar sort of very quickly when that first player swung from sort of left side CT to short. But yeah, very weak retake there from CR4ZY as LDLC off to a brilliant start. T-side seeming to kick things off right away here. CR4ZY, as expected, into a forced buy investment. Plenty of smokes, single flashbang, single HE grenade, but more so those pistols that we know can be so deadly. Desert Eagles in every single player's hand, minus Psycho, of course, goes for a P250 instead. CR4ZY, at least there is an option for them to do some sort of damage, although for a side like LDLC, who again do have a very good understanding of exactly how to play these anti-eco type rounds, their distance from CR4ZY for now, play super passive, run down the clock, and pretty much have read what should be a very nice site take here. Actually, it's single player out toward the B site, Toxic holding as a lone defender, and that is where LDLC are seeming to put all their eggs inside of one basket. Toxic, lone man ready for attack, but LDLC They've got 2 mollies, 2 smokes, 3 flashes. They've got plenty. The artillery to be comfortable with. They've got enough to be able to take a site like this. As long as they sort of check the corner, check the close angle, everything should be okay. It's a very ignored spot, this sort of position that Toxic is playing from, but it seems like they are highly aware. But look at this. It's a fake from LDLC straight around towards the A side.
That's perfect for LDLC there. They've caught every player off guard. The entries come in and Body, even holding on to the smackdown, he's able to take 2 players with him. And I actually thought that molly that landed at Body's feet, that was actually his teammates. It did fail as accidentally clipped the top of that scaffolding. However, he's going to hold on to the smackdown. He might even find some more exits as well. CR4ZY and Psycho both push towards him. And LDLC, a great read, a great rotation. We saw on Inferno as well. Just how fast they are to turn around and commit to another bomb site. Just a very flexible team in general. As they're going to secure themselves a second round. 4 players left alive. It will make the investment from these Galils and AKs prove to be, well, phenomenal for them as they look to build that economy.
One thing on a map like Vertigo as well that really could set LDLC off on a great little run is just being able to bounce back from any CT endeavors, ensure that they sure do lose a round. They can bounce back pretty much instantly. And for a side like LDLC, exactly the way they want to be kicking things off here. A great round to begin. Clean round as well, as they do, should be getting 3rd in a row here. It's a full eco round from Crazy. A little bit of a partial pistol buy again from a couple of saved up scenarios. We'll look at the LDLC side, full sets of utility. Should be ready for the attack, but Demk, though, able to close out Lambert, find an early frag of the round, do some great damage. Try and get a advantage for his side as they look to maybe try and win out even on a round like this. It would be a very good one to pick up nice and early here in the map itself. Some damage inflicted onto Sixer. He needs to be careful. Luckily, though, facing unkevlared opponents with basic pistols, he at least gets out with his life. A couple of kills traded and the site under pressure, but they're not even committing. Again, it's another fake from LDLC.
And Demq is in such a great position here to be behind. However, LDLC, because they're all over the map, Demq, he's behind these A players. Unfortunately, rotation came back from B. They realized they were going to fake it, but why fake it when you already have the bomb site? CR4ZY is going to be a bit closer along with Toxic. However, when they don't have any utility at all, it doesn't really matter. Afro's there ahead of Toxic. It's all on CR4ZY now. He's going to spot these players pushing distance. Spam comes through. Hadji turning his head off and securing a bomb plant for LDLC. As they make it 3-0 now against Crazy. Will be a full buy coming in on Crazy. They won't be an AWP in the hands of Sensei. It will just be rifles with utility. And of course a FAMAS in Psycho. We're actually going to see Sixer though upgrading to that AWP. Wouldn't surprise me if we see a bit of a fast mid play off the hands of Body. Nice to go try and open it up towards ramp as well. We will have to wait and see. It looks like it's going to be fast mid play actually. Sixer posted up. That flash going to prevent any aggression towards those stairs. That's actually taking a lot of damage early on. He will find Afro as he falls on away from ramp.
It's going to pretty much direct LDLC toward the B site, though. You can see there's no faking it this time. Player's ready, but Toxic on his toes gets away with the kill onto Hadji. That's perfect. 5 on 3. Could be no way to be able to close out this one now for LDLC. 6 are into. AWP needs to be the player to come through and provide some sort of damage here, but no, Demk, Toxic, doing it all themselves. Crazy with a very convincing round, despite so much damage being done. Should be a victory for the CT side.
And 6 right now, just as being closed, Demq will find him and he'll be able to save that up for Sensei as well. And LDLC there, unfortunately stagnating a bit on that push. It was a great round by Toxic. His very presence, just him staying alive, was all he had to do there. He was able to completely catch off guard any LDLC push and draw their attention away from the rotating players. And of course, that time he was able to buy for them meant that by the time the LDLC push came forward, Crazy already had about 3 or 4 people ready to defend that B site. Of course, there wasn't any chance for there to be a fake because that A player died instantly. As Sensei able to get that initial opening. We're actually going to see LDLC be able to retake for ramp here. Demq able to get into a corner, but Afro's going to spot him. Spam will come through, and that's man advantage to LDLC. Ramp control not quite working as that smoke just not broad enough. However, Sergey's and Sensei looking like they want to fight for it more, as we'll see him not backing away from shoulder that smoke. Don't prevent any further push as the flash goes out. That's shot ringing through the smoke, almost finding body. As he'll push up further now.
Here for Crazy. If they lose this second man, they're in a really tough spot. And it's still on the clock, so plenty of time, but I'm pretty sure, yeah, they've definitely just spotted out Sensei, but they know of at least that second man as well. Luckily, Sergez away with one, but it's Body that's quick for the trade. They know now that Sensei is pretty much trapped here, but Lambert doing exactly what he's supposed to, holding, supporting the side. B site is clear. LDLC are playing a terrific T side so far, especially on a map that only until, I'd say 2 weeks ago maximum, they lost every single time they played. They were like 0-9 on this map. It really started to turn things around. T-side Vertigo, one of the harder T-sides in the map pool to play, but LDLC against Crazy looking comfortable right now to fake it out, to go for the rotates, to leave the time a little bit late but still commit to the bomb site. They seem to have a very convincing run of play about them right now, something that Crazy is really struggling to handle.
Absolutely. We're actually going to see LDLC now wanting to pressure down these rifles, not allowing them to save enemies. It's not just the gun, he also had a molly and smoke, which would have been perfect for that CT defense. However, he'll be taken down. Sol and Sensei now trying to hold on to that AWP, and looks like he will just out of positioning. LDLC don't really have players anywhere near him. If you take down that shoulder player, his body looks to aggress just a bit early on. He will. Sensei will take him down, and LDLC, they get the round. 4-1 as they lead against Crazy, and looks like it will be a timeout coming through on behalf of Crazy. And Kieran, if you're in Crazy's position, what do you do?
At this point, they've got to change things up. The one thing that we spoke about so consistently is how good Crazy look on the aggression, but so far they've just been sat back playing super passively. I want to see players like Toxic, players like Psycho getting up in the face of LDLC right at the start of the round. If you need to, maybe adjust Sensei's position, send him to the B ramp, see if we could challenge Sixer, because that's one position that he's been putting pressure on for a couple of rounds here, waiting for somebody to test his patience on that angle. But I think the paramount change that Crazy do have to make right now is they've got to give LDLC something to worry about. Sitting back on the site is not going to do that. They have to get aggressive here.
Absolutely, and something I think that's been vexing about is we haven't seen much done towards mid. I would love to see a controlled push from Crazy and or LDLC fighting to mid right now. Again, that can allow a very easy B take. Already got. LDLC chooses to go for a fast A take. Sergey is going to find two instantly. He'll fall away for little to no damage done to him. As a questionable play from LDLC to choose to go A so quickly as come through. Afro will find one, almost finding a second though. Psycho able to trade though. And these remaining players from LDLC, they're against 3 players on this A site. Sergey's looking to aggress towards shoulder as well. That flash will go in. Amber finds one actually while blind. Demq able to trade. It's all on Sixer now. 1 versus 3. And we did see Body here, 1 versus 4 earlier on Inferno, but it wasn't quite the same fashion. Demq will fall. Sixer now. He's going to spot the head of Psycho. However, Psycho takes him down. Crazy finds their second, and LDLC a bit sloppy with that push towards A ramp. They didn't need to show any aggression. They knew the economy from Crazy was broken, but that push, of course, punished heavily by Sergey.
What you want to see from Crazy, if they know that LDLC are going to be orchestrating a bit of a fast around, the way to do that, sit up close, sit in those corners, those unpredictable angles. As long as the flashbangs are with you, as long as you get maybe a little bit lucky that the players are blind at the right time, then you'll come out with success, exactly like Sergez did there in that sort of position. You can see what effect that it does have on LDLC now. Their money is gone. Sixer, only player with any sort of weapon saved up here, an AK to play with, but the rest pretty much down to nothing. A single MAC-10, some Desert Eagles in the field as well, but Psycho already baiting out the damage. Toxic able to get away with the early frag. Some aggressive pushes though. Body able to shut down one Lambert. No, that's not supposed to happen. Sensei now isolated beyond the smoke. The rotates will arrive eventually, but it's a 4-on-3 with 3 weapons picked up by LDLC.
Well, actually retrieving that FAMAS. He is able to be traded by Sensei though, as Crazy do go into a 3 versus 3 retake. Sixer needs to find Sergey though. That's the pincer And that's the catalyst for this retake. Unfortunately, Sergey's will fall. The set piece goes out now, and Devq just has to accelerate. Lambert able to take him down. The spam continues to come on through. Sensei, he'll get Lambert and train. Falls it away, though. Looks like he will actually be able to make it, though. And Sensei just grasping onto this orb, allowing him to at least finish the round with something. Now, LDLC, off the back of what was essentially a shoddy buy, able to get that 5th round. And CR4ZY, unfortunately, just playing a bit too close, considering they were against pistols. The bait setup was perfect, but Body hitting an amazing shot onto that Toxic to open it up. The follow-up from Lambert as well, just instantly caused that site to collapse.
So good from LDLC. You can see what effect that it has now as well. It's money that is gone for the side of Crazy. A single AWP saved up into the scenario, but again, it is not going to really change the outcome of the overall round itself. It should be LDLC continuing right now to extend their run of play on a very confident T side of Vertigo here. For LDLC, so far so good, ensuring right now that they get the early entry. But with the run of play, because with the way that Crazy are sort of responding, the overall scenario for this squad, they, again, like on Inferno, have to start picking up CT-sided rounds. They cannot afford to let LDLC go any closer towards not just securing the first half, but again, pressing for double digits. It's only a couple of gun rounds away until we actually see LDLC breaching 9-10 rounds or so. Good return by Sensei, but a 4-on-3. Lambert catching off onto Toxic. Time is ticking though, and LDLC will make their run towards the A-bomb site. Sixer just about gets it out alive, but a 4-on-2 now should be paramount. Yeah, that nade was perfect. Hadji closing out one. Sensei to save it. 6-2 for LDLC.
Absolutely, and Crazy there. It's a first time actually from both teams we see some sort of fight towards mid. We saw kills go both ways, and Toxic a bit careless to push mid, knowing that there'd be more than one player. Of course, they saw the Body when he died, of course, was boosted up there, so there had to be another player. Toxic taking a bit of needless damage, though. Granted, it didn't matter. That nade was perfect. Probably would have lost the aim regardless. No armor. Agi will find Sensei, and that orb won't be saved from Crazy. And Crazy, a team that really likes having this orb on Sensei as well. Like, it's not that they're uncomfortable without it, but, you know, they'll certainly prefer it. As LDLC able to drop that straight to Sixer. So they make it 6-2, and it will be a full buy from Crazy as well. But again, it's just rifles. Fair bit of utility though, but with no money in the bank whatsoever.
Solid run of rounds here for LDLC if they can keep this one up. The pace of the way they're playing right now really does tell a scary tone that Crazy, if they don't start turning things up right now, is on the sort of back foot of being shunted out of their own map pick. Again, it is increasingly becoming kind of an odd decision for me that actually Crazy have gone for the pick of Vertigo, knowing that LDLC have started to turn things around. Like 38% win rate, but a 6-map loss streak that they're on right now is definitely a scary sign, especially when you consider that sure, a couple of their games have gone into overtime, into 16-14s, but when you lose 16-4 against a side like ATN, 9 against a team like Navi Jr. Oh, psycho. Beautiful.
Beautiful setup in mid there. Both players stacked up on top of each other at different elevations, allowing them to score 3 kills and the bomb. LDLC now 2-man disadvantage as they look to, well, retrieve the bomb to start and then commit to a site. And of course, Crazy, the situation going to split into a 2-2 setup. Of course, they can 2 versus 2 on whatever sites that LDLC choose to go to. Bear in mind, on your T side, when you're aggressing, you're going to be at a disadvantage no matter what aim duel you take. And again, Crazy need this round so badly. We look at their economy right now. Half the players, well, almost all the players, don't have head armor not because they choose to, because they literally can't afford it. And if they want utility to at least make it easier for them next round, they're going to need it. They'll need this round. They're going to need the guns as well.
15 seconds. They are still trying to apply the pressure onto the site here. Afro just about stays alive, but Hadji, there's the first coming through. Maybe a chance of a second. No way. This is not going down right now. Zerg is just about. Afro, though. Molotov does the job. Molotov burning Sensei down to a 1v1. 2 health for Afro. A single bullet will do the trick on either of these players, though. It's all about the timing. Afro just sitting, waiting for an opportunity. Here's the footsteps, baits out the corner, waits for the swing and still ticking it down. Afro, how does he get alive so long? But finally, the round will come to a close. CR4ZY, a lot closer than it should have been, but at least a victory on the board.
And that was disgustingly close. CR4ZY, even though they won that, they should still be kicking themselves. LDLC shouldn't have made it that close at all. That molly did so much damage by Hadji there. And CR4ZY, as I was saying, they needed those guns. If we look at their economy now, again, they're going straight down to 0 toxic, forced onto a FAMAS. As Sensei, he is able to drop a 4 to Soya. That will allow a bit more utilities to be brought. But Demq, he's going to be on a FAMAS as well. We're going to see another timeout come through from CR4ZY as they try and rack their brains for what can beat this LDLC side.
They are definitely going to need something relatively soon to start to tip this game in their favor, just for the fact that the LDLC on this T side, the always scary part of this is economy. It's never safe for a team like CR4ZY. They do need to keep picking up these victories, and more so in consistent fashion rather than, you know, dribs and drabs of success. They have to be able to at least secure 2 or 3 rounds in a row just to save the economy in terms of survival and the longevity of the half itself. So CR4ZY right now will be looking to guarantee some more success. Spam down ramp, indicating that there might be a bit of an early interaction. Serg is on the corner, tagged up still, but Afro, that's a beautiful flashbang, gets away with a double, and Body returns the damage. A 4-on-2 so quickly, and that's the turn of pace that LDLC are proving so consistently that is going to be a winning factor against CR4ZY.
And that flash from 6 just unbelievable. Afro able to get around the corner, and it's just open season for him. He finds 2. Granted, he'll fall, but he has 3 players behind that smoke. They just swing wide, get the trade, and they've secured themselves a bomb site. And what's interesting right now is they're not even taking that bomb site. They're being quiet, they're holding firm, and they're waiting to see if CR4ZY decide to push into this. We see them looking to go back and save, and that means that this extra time that they take allows them to have extra time hunting down these remaining members of CR4ZY.
But right now, CR4ZY, as we can see, the fact that 2 players only survive in this round, especially with the fact that it's a FAMAS and an M4. If it was the AWP, then you're thinking, yeah, fair enough, it's a decent save to sort of carry over. But with this one right now, it's Toxic and Psycho. Is it really worth the sort of hassle? I'd even like to see them attempt this sort of round, but of course they're never going to. Money is barren for the rest of the side. Round loss bonus, I believe, is still somewhat fairly okay, so they might be able to actually drop out a couple of weapons, proceed into the next round with, but we cannot take away from the fact that if it is an eco, LDLC, like an Inferno, are already going to be secure in the first half on T side with very little challenge from CR4ZY.
Absolutely. And again, we are just to see them sit back and hold firm in T-Spawn. LDLC are hunting for them, but I doubt they'll find them, as of course they're just going on towards this B site. Bomb will go off, LDLC finds 7, and it's a similar story as what we saw on Inferno. LDLC finding this very early on success, and CR4ZY just having to play catch up for the rest of the game. And, you know, you can only play catch up for so long. You can't have well, you can, but it's very rare to see a flawless 10-round spree or an 8-round spree, which is what CR4ZY would need going into the second half.
One-sided game so far. LDLC will take a little bit of a tactical timeout, though. What you love to see from a side that is so aware of their own sort of momentum. We see many sides, actually, and especially on a T side, where you can get very caught up in the motion. So many teams, and especially with, let's say, not some of the egos on the side of LDLC, but the name value of players like Body and Sixer, even Hadji in the mix as well, where you gain that sort of confidence. You just need a little bit of a breather, a little bit of a timeout, just to reassure the side, make sure that nobody is maybe going for the heroic kind of plays, sacrificing themselves, just playing as a unit. So good to see LDLC, even though they are winning, utilizing tactical timeouts in their favor. And the effect that will have on Crazy is more mental, but it pays a real price for Crazy to just be sat there for that extra 30 seconds, deliberating what is coming up in the next round. It can do wonders for a side like LDLC to mentally get the victory over their opponents. But an eco round as expected. M4 given out to CR4ZY, even without Kevlar, which is incredibly interesting, but they will make a boost, at least try and gather some info, but it soon should tell them that most likely they are on the B bomb site. Not sure if CR4ZY spotted that, but Body's satchel did actually poke through the yellow sort of container there, but I don't think they're aware.
And Body right now is in practice to catch all these players. Body actually instantly taken down. That's an AK secured for Crazy. And LDLC off the back of that, knowing 3 players are there, going to accelerate towards the site. Got that FAMAS's location given away though. He looks to fall on back. Afro close in the distance as he also pushes forward. Seeing what he can find. Those smokes going to cut the site in half, allowing LDLC to get that plant. 3 versus 4. He finds 2. The trade is there though from Sensi. 3 versus 3 now. As Lambert and Afro wants to hold the site. The push again coming through from Crazy. Afro's been able to fall on back to a fairly passive position. At least with Lambert able to support him here. They fall on away. Afro's going to heal these players on site. Lambert going to spot that first player. They exchange shots. The swing comes forward. Afro takes him down. The bait is beautiful. And CR4ZY's now 1 versus 2. And as that bomb ticks ever closer, he doesn't have a kit, he is just going to have to fall on away. His only hope was going to be exits regardless. And Afro actually aggressing, not wanting to let CR4ZY save that AK, and he'll be taken down. Afro, an amazing decision by him to take that aggression and find that AK. LDLC make it 8, securing themselves a victory in the first half.
LDLC, so good right now. Rebuy to come from side of Crazy. No AWP, of course. Their economy just not as viable to be able to afford that sort of weaponry. Is something that you would love to see, especially with Sixer having the AWP of his own out on the field. It would just be something you'd like to have in place just to alleviate some of the pressure, but the damage done early is insane. LDLC just ticking off their health as he already seemed to put a bit of pressure on the A side, but the one thing about LDLC that I have loved so far, they have never committed to a site in terms of, okay, we're 5, apart from the one round where CR4ZY's at top ramp did manage to take them out as like a 4K, but the majority, they've been like, okay, we'll put a bit of action here, we'll play some utility set pieces over to this site, but then there's still, like, even no dedication from LDLC of, okay, now we'll hit the A site, now we'll hit the B site. The fact that they are moving so, I'd even say lucid on the T side of, let's just see where the wind takes us, see where the kills we can find, end up on the map and work off of the back of that. And that's such a great way to play the T side, because if you're not playing in a strict tactical environment, Crazy have no idea what you're going to do from one round to the next. That's why they're so on their toes here at this point. As Toxic already losing the B site. Psycho traded out. Death good return though, gets away with 2, but it's Body able to return the damage, spots out all 3 of them. Body inside of middle, he does what's necessary.
And absolutely to reiterate what you said there about LDLC on their default, it's that when you play such a, it's not so much a loose default, when you play such a fluid playstyle, it allows your players like Body, Sixer, Agi to play how they want, and it gives them space to take some creative license and just tear apart Crazy, especially when they're feeling it, when they're warmed up, when they're ready to play, as we see from Afro and Body at the moment. They're just able to wreak havoc on this Crazy side, and you know, this anti-regiment style really paying off. We see again Lambert finding 1, Body finding another, and that's a 2-man disadvantage instantly for Crazy, and if they're not careful, LDLC are going to hit double digits. As Toxic falls again, Agi finds CR4ZY's as well. It's all on Psycho now, fighting for mid. Lambert covering the distance. As the swing comes forward, Lambert will take him down. LDLC hits 10, and Crazy have got a mountain to climb to end this half and start the second.
Lord, they can actually get a solid buy round out of this one though. Again, seeming to pretty much ignore the AWP, interestingly enough. They had so much money in terms of round loss bonus to be able to go for the buy there, but again, they're just not capable of being able to seemingly play an AWP here, and that gives Sixer a free run of the mill. You can see LDLC, they're so confident in their own aggressive pushes here, and it works out a treat. When you've got Lambert getting entry kills, you know LDLC are on the road to success here.
Absolutely, and we saw them just running through any utility chuck by Crazy. Afro and Hadji, they fall down low, but just the kills with laser-like precision as they just tear apart that site hold from Crazy. And, you know, we've got Sergis, he's still on scaffolding. Like, what do you do in that scenario? LDLC, the Crazy had the perfect utility setup. You know, those nades did 90 damage each. Again, LDLC just like a behemoth charge in towards the site, and Demq's the only player who can really find one, but he's instantly traded.
The fact that Crazy were confident enough to pick a map like Vertigo is clearly a telltale sign of the understanding they have of the map, but LDLC, I mean, we can clearly tell right now they're not playing standard T-side Vertigo. Like, if you play it against, let's say, you know, even a team like Ago, Illuminar, this sort of map, Endpoint even, they play a very tactical approach on the T side. You know, executions toward the A side, smokes down, very passive approach until the last 40 seconds. LDLC don't give a damn about all that. Like you say, they're just committing to the sites. They're not even caring about the utility here. And you can see that Crazy, it's not computing with them because they're playing such a unorthodox way of a map like Vertigo. This should be one of the more specialist maps in the pool, but LDLC are treating it like it's a game of Dust 2 at this point. It's just frags and kills and pure damage from them.
Absolutely, and we're not going to see 6 be tagged down low, and that's at least the silver lining for Crazy now. Since they're getting that initial damage out, swing comes through. Afro going to be leading the charge again. We've seen how much success he's had on the Say ramp as he hugs the smoke. He's going to hear Sensei close to him as well. Push comes through, and Sensei, he needs to be very careful right now. Afro, if he shifts just a little bit closer, he's at risk of being taken down. Jumps up onto that scaffolding. Both players tantalizingly close to each other. Spam will come through. Sensei, though, again, unable to find a kill, but the util is doing so much damage. Sergey's able to find body supporting his teammate. That molly continues to do damage. Sergey's finds Hadji as well. That's the bomb being dropped. Afro tags Sensei in reply. As a follow-up push is still there, the aggression from Crazy is working out wonders for them. Only 2 players remaining on the side of LDLC. Demq swinging wide as he hugs close to that smoke, not quite going through it. That nade is absolutely perfect onto Sergey's there. Sergey's finds Lambert through the scaffolding there. It's all on Afro, that lone player, and Sergey's another kill through that scaffolding. LDLC make it 11-4, and Crazy, even though they get that final round of the half, they're going to have to convert a lot of momentum to even consider coming back into this as they go onto that T side of Vertigo.
They're essentially going to need a flawless CT start at this point. How one-sided it has been so far, a pistol round might just be the nail in the coffin for LDLC. They can take that sort of victory if they can get away with the uprise of, let's say, 12, 13, 14 rounds even. We're pretty much writing the same script as Inferno at this point, where if LDLC win the pistol, they're on their fast track to victory here. Lambert, first player that is put under a lot of pressure. The nade will do some solid damage, but are now LDLC realizing that, well, this is most likely a bit of a B-sided split, and I think that is exactly the case. The site already being taken over, some great damage in from the tags, but nobody dead yet. A 5-on-5 retake for LDLC to master.
Absolutely, and this is just what Crazy needed. They've got the site. They don't have the utility, but they do have the setup. As Body now, looks like it'll be that point of contact with Hadji. Shots exchanging. They know Toxic's there, however, we don't see him face. And we're Crazy with 3 players stacked up towards the ventilator right now. Knew that Toxic gets taken down. The trade is there. Hadji finds him. Sensei finds one of his own. Sergey's and MQ also trading in response. Sergey's finding another onto Sixer. And Crazy find 5.
Finally, they get themselves a victory on the board. A pistol round to come through. Does give them a chance here to slowly start ticking away at the scoreline. Please try and grind some rounds back. Of course, it will be a force by LDLC. They'll go for the investment. They'll pick themselves up some pistols, even a little bit of utility there in the form of some grenades. Well, so far so good for Crazy, at least to begin the T side. They've got to play against even a dangerous pistol round from LDLC. This sort of setup right now is one that could provide a lot of risk here. Demph, though, gets away with the first kill. Body and Lambert, though, that's what I'm saying. You cannot deny these pistols. They are such a deadly force. The French notorious for how good they can translate these eco rounds. It stems right back in the day, even to the lengths of Titan and G2 where they'd never eco, it'd be a Tech 9 Deagle buy, and look at this again. LDLC 4-on-2. Desert Eagle's doing the work. Luckily, the bomb's still in hand, but a massive task at hand.
Exactly, and this just must be harrowing for CR4ZY. Again, to have finally something go your way, only for LDLC to snatch it out of your hands. As Toxic now going to have to re-clear mid, hoping catch off Body, who now has a Mach 10, by the way, to be used against these players. Body not quite facing Toxic, so it could be at a bit of an advantage now going into the same duel. But need to face each other. Their exchange of Body. What a shot onto Toxic there. Psycho being that remaining player, he doesn't have the bomb, he doesn't have time, and he doesn't have the positioning, his location known. Shot from behind, Hadji finds him, and that's just disgusting from LDLC. The Eagles ringing true, and CR4ZY almost blown out the map now. 12-5 LDLC lead against them.
LDLC, of course, they win that sort of round. Why wouldn't they? Just CR4ZY are probably thinking, yeah, it's just our damn luck at this point, right? The fact that we lose that sort of round. CR4ZY, of course, will go for a force buy of their own, see if they can make something out of a round like this, but more often than not, providing that it goes in the favor of LDLC, we are on our way to 14-5. LDLC just looking to make a very quick series out of this one. They seem like they've got somewhere else to be here with the pace they're pushing this one through with. NINET25, mid control looking to be established. It's a fairly standard B-sided split for the side of CR4ZY. Flashes over the top, Toxic taking a hell of a lot of damage. And look at this, Lambert inside the smoke. Only good for the one though. Pressure is applied by Body as he swings the corner. Sensei trapped on the staircase with that bomb in hand, and ooh, Demk. At least distracting. Wait a second, does get away with another, but Body and Afro cleaning the house. 13-5 and an eco round for CR4ZY.
And CR4ZY, they're doing a great job to almost come back into that round. Demk able to find 2 of his own. However, LDLC, just that pressure and just those initial kills found by them, working so well in their favor. That was with MP9s as well. We're going to see them go into a full buy now. Will be an AWP in the hands of Sixer. And the full wrath of LDLC ready to be unleashed. You know, we haven't seen them with guns at all, even though they're 13-5 up. Well, at least for CT side, that is. And that pretty much tells the story in itself, doesn't it? LDLC swinging on ramp, Hadji finding 2 of his own, and CR4ZY unable to respond. Sensei now going to be pushing towards ramp. Six is ready for him, as Afro's been able to get into an aggressive position himself.
Thought Lambert might have got caught out there, but not the case this time. They phase out the shot with the AWP. Works out brilliantly. LDLC 14-5. CR4ZY. I think the worst part for this side right now is usually they're a very tactical team. They're a very self-aware team. They know when things are going wrong, but I think they're in full tilt mode at this point. The fact that we've not seen a tactical timeout called in this position, I think even after they lost the force buy, that should have been a tactical pause, but it seems like CR4ZY just have this sort of, not like rage mentality or tilt, but just that annoyance that they've let LDLC just brute force them out of a series. Sensei, that's a great start though, at least. They can get away with an early frag. They've not even cleared ramp, but Body does not care. He's into the main position already. The Molotov burning them alive. They realize there's a player still inside of middle, but Body doesn't care. He's going for the jugular at this point. He's looking for the flanks.
And he's got the bomb as well. He's in such an amazing position right now. Toxic is going to have to re-clear everything if you want. Well, Sergey, sorry, is going to have to re-clear everything if he even wants to dream of getting this bomb back. And Body, a really great call as well to decide to continue pushing. He's called for his team. They now know what the risks are. As Body actually coming up the ladder, just re-clearing mid as well. He's bound to catch Toxic out of position right now. As the push is set up for this B site, Body. Can he find the AWPer? A bit too slow. LDLC now. Probably realizing that it's going to be a B hit. I think Body's going to hear all this. Rotation will come on through. Hadji going to be that lone man on the site. Toxic actually ready for Body now. On these stairs. He's been a bit too slow. Body swings wide. Toxic will tear his head off. And CR4ZY now finally have a position that looks semi-decent for them, and LDLC, they've got the rounds to play with. They choose to save. We see them falling on back, saving this AWP and M4.
Exactly the right thing to do as well at this point. Like I say, they've got such a barrier to really make sure the economy is safe, and with the way that Adji has money in the bank as well, Body saved up 5.5 grand. We'll be able to get a rebuy back and hope to sort of fight another day here in this one. 6 rounds for CR4ZY, which on a map like Vertigo is a very disappointing result to be currently sat at 14-6. So LDLC know that Vertigo can get a little close, can get a little up in your face at this sort of point. So they go for the save, make the right choice. Of course, there will be a rebuy on the way. Afro even picking up an AUG. Seeming like he was maybe wanting to play a little more defensive on the ramp. Was aggro pushed with Body in the previous one. With the AUG, he might just sit back and scope the ramp down, perhaps. See what this one does have in store for us. Lambert, though, he's looking to get into a very early aggro position. CR4ZY, though, not spotting him out. Body dead in the water. Great start this time. Damage done to CR4ZY, but it's an early entry. They won't matter about the rest. They won't matter about a couple of tags because they've got the first kill of the round.
Absolutely, and CR4ZY finally with a one-man advantage. We see them, we found that last round, and LDLC, they still don't have 15, so CR4ZY, it's just 10 rounds in a row now to take the victory, as we see them set up to retake this B site. Actually going to be that point of contact, have to see what he can find. As the push comes forward towards the stairs, he's going to see that nade go out the right. He'll take him down. The aggression's absolutely perfect. He's been able to retake that B ramp, and unfortunately, CR4ZY, having rotated away, have been unable to trade him. They're going to go up towards mid, then probably head back down towards would either be a bit of an A split, potentially, as CR4ZY leads the way. Sixer, though, at the ready, AWP in hand. Players just continue shifting on forward. CR4ZY being fairly slow and methodical about how they clear everything. The set, or the utility should come out now. Or not, just something contact. Sixer finds the first. Comes out. Almost find the second, though. He's been tagged down. He's going to drop that. Well, he went after drop of smoke. He runs away. The split coming on through. AG going to ring true. Lambert finds one. Psycho trading. Afro finds another one. Sensei trading as well. 1 versus 2 now for Sensei as he falls back towards this A site. The plant will come on through. Sixer and Hadji hot on his heels. That molly will force him away. It's a fast smoke. Unfortunately, it's in the wrong place. He'll fall back down. Or make noise to try and fake his fall. Back down towards shoulder. However, wary of it. Holding the other side of the smoke.
Ever closer. They realize now that this might be a little bit more of a difficult situation, but they've allowed him to actually move his position right here. Here comes the push. Hadji not going to check the corner, but Sixer will. Beautiful shot from him. Plenty of time to get the defuse. 15 on the board. And they've done exactly what was necessary there. Sixer, usually a player that is very hit and miss with his AWP, but he has looked very good in this series. Closing out the round. Map and series point for LDLC.
Absolutely, and again, just what LDLC needed. They've got, well, all the space in the world they could possibly want. They could try something fancy. They've got enough money to buy. They want to close it out here and now. CR4ZY. Their buy is fairly good, all things considered. MQ going to be the only player without an AK. So he clutches onto a deagle.
So sad for CR4ZY. Side that really should have had the potential in this sort of series, but they've faced a beast in LDLC today. The fact that they're maybe just about to secure 2 maps, exactly the same scoreline, it's a scary prospect here. Afro requesting the AWP, interestingly enough. I'm not too sure what he's got in mind, but very interesting setup. Body, though. Deleting CR4ZY off the face of the earth. The smoke down. Sixer. Oh, takes a bit of a tag, but look at Body right now. Above the smoke, waiting for the chance to... But no, not this time. Sixer keeps his teammates safe, though. Realizing that he might have to escape, and, well, they let him. Moving back to the A side, it's got to be a commitment now from LDLC. Oh, sorry, from CR4ZY. They can rotate if they want to, but the utility saves a bomb site. Here comes the attack from CR4ZY.
And I do like the quick switch that Afro and Sixer had there. I think Sixer wanted to go aggressive, decided, you know what, it's best if he moves on to that. Switch comes back around. Dogs spamming that smoke, won't find anything. CR4ZY now. a 3-man afterplant against the 4 remaining players of LDLC to stay in the game. LDLC wanted to close it out. Can they do it? We'll have to find out. The set piece goes out by Lambert as these retake smokes land. Agi going to be leading that charge as well. Clearing close sight. Demq hugging this smoke, waiting for the tap to come through. Tap goes through. Making noise. He taps down what he can. Lambert finding him 6 and finding another. It's all on Toxic. He's spamming that smoke. He'll find one. Almost find 2. However, Afro takes him down. And as that defuse comes through, LDLC make it 2-0.
Very, very quick series there from LDLC. Replica scorelines, Inferno and Vertigo both going 16-6. A very one-sided victory, a very dominant one. As thankfully for CR4ZY, it's not a decisive best of 3. It's not elimination. It's not playoff advancement. It's just sort of slap bang in the middle. It won't decide much yet. But that was definitely a great performance from LDLC. They'll push themselves closer toward playoffs, so 2-1 for them right now. But if they're going to be playing like that every day, that's a mind-blowing performance from, again, aside from LDLC that didn't play Vertigo very well up until like 3 or 4 weeks ago.
Absolutely, and that's just unbelievable from LDLC. Like, I'm blown away with how well they've played these 2 maps. And again, I think it's just the way their playstyle clashes against CR4ZY has worked for them perfectly. We see that they prefer this kind of fluid playstyle of just holding a default, and they play a very reactive way of CS where they don't commit anywhere. They have no plan going. Well, they probably have a little bit of a plan going into rounds, but everything is subject to change, and they're ready for that. So they get a pick on B, let's go B. They get a pick on mid, let's split somewhere. And that works so well with the lineup they have. You know, we've got B, Sixer, both players who are very good at finding this opening pick. And we saw Body able to do it time and time again on both Inferno and Vertigo. Same for Afro as well. His B holes on Inferno especially, absolutely stunning for LDLC. And CR4ZY just couldn't find the formula to beat it.
Scary. If LDLC continue playing like that, they're a real contender to make it out of that playoffs, of course. They'll go down into the 2-1, ready for a playoff advancement, of course. And, well, that does call time on this series, of course. That is a very premature victory, I think. LDLC, they made it look super simple in that one. And, well, of course, that will be the end of things for this one. Make sure, though, before we do leave, if you have enjoyed the broadcast, our ats are below. Go and drop us both a follow. It would mean a lot. And, of course, make sure you're checking out all the giveaways with Esports Millions. Go to ukrn.io/Esports Millions or at the Esports Bible on Twitter. Go check out the giveaways. There's gaming PCs. There's cash bets on Unicorn. And more so, there's an entrance into the €1 million prize fund giveaway for Cups 3 and 4. So go and check that out. But we'll leave you in the capable hands of the further talent taking over for the day. We'll see you all next time, same place here on the Relog 9to5 channels. We'll see you next time.
Initialize booting. These are your targets. You must find, capture and contain them until extraction vehicle arrives. Witnesses are irrelevant. Leave them unharmed if you can. End of a transmission. system online.
Sword was good buy. Think of money we'll save on ammo.